A Stratford man on the FBI's most wanted list has been arrested. Agents say that Joshua Link was arrested yesterday at Los Angeles International Airport. He is one of 5 people charged in a nationwide cattle fraud scheme. A grand jury indicted Link on charges of wire fraud and money laundering. Federal prosecutors accused the group of taking money to buy and raise cattle, and then were told they would sell the meat for profit. Investigators say they pocketed more than $200 million from more than 2,200 victims. Missouri's highest court is now considering whether the new congressional map is constitutional. The new map was drawn to send one more Republican to Washington, D.C. by breaking up the Kansas City area and is now being challenged in the high court. Hannah Falcon was there and breaks down the arguments for us.
As you can see, protesters are now marching in front of the Missouri Supreme Court following a hearing Tuesday morning to decide whether the Missouri legislature was allowed to redraw that congressional map in the middle of a decade without a new census.
Politicians should not be making the decisions that are politically best for them.
Jefferson City resident Mary Luther is one of the Missouri voters who filed this lawsuit against the state's new congressional map. She's joined by protesters in saying the map that favors more Republicans was created unlawfully.
Because the majority of us here in Missouri support a fair government.
That's right. Inside the Supreme Court,
all rise.
Luther's lawyer argues the new map should never have been drawn because Missouri lawmakers can only create a new map when there is a new census. The state refutes this, giving a different interpretation of the Missouri Constitution.
When means when, and we think that language is quite clear.
But the word when, as counsel has explained, simply imposes a mandatory minimum duty to redistrict when the triggering event occurred.
Secretary of State Denny Hoskins was in court for the arguments as a longtime supporter of a map sending 7 Republicans and only 1 Democratic lawmaker to Washington, D.C.
I'm hopeful that the Supreme Court will decide what we've been saying all along, that yes, the General Assembly does have the ability to redistrict mid-census.
It could be weeks before the court makes a decision. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon.